Positive thinking stands for positivity. As a consequence, it tries to eliminate negativity and evil. This idea seems to be wonderful, but there is a small problem. It doesn't work. By directing thoughts towards positivity only, positive thinking ends up creating unconsciousness about evil. In the last videos of this series, we have been seeing that positive thinking is totally opposite to the teachings of Jungian Psychology by Carl Jung. We have already seen that positive thinking despises the immense power of the unconscious mind. But positive thinking also ignores one of the Jungian psychology's most important discoveries: how to deal with the problem of evil. I'm Cavalher. Positive thinking promotes a logical and rational perspective about negative things and evil. That's logical. Positive thinking could only stand for a rational perspective. Positive thinking teaches you to think only in a positive way in order to make only positive situations happen in your life. This perspective demonstrates that positive thinking wants to eliminate the existence of negative things. This line of thought is totally based on duality. Positive and negative are two opposite things. In the duality, the increase of one thing implies the decrease of the opposite thing. Therefore, in the duality established by positive thinking, the increase of positive implies the decrease of the negative. That's exactly the logic of the third dimension. In 3D, the ego gets stronger and wants to control everything. That's what positive thinking promotes: the total control over life by the ego. The fourth dimension is completely different. In 4D, the soul, the self, directs the process. There is still duality in 4D. However, the 4D process aims at progressively overcoming duality, heading the unity of the fifth dimension. Carl Jung is the author who brilliantly described the 4D process in his Jungian Psychology. One of his most important teachings is the soul, the self, the transcendental power within you is the wholeness, is everything there is, no exceptions. If the soul is everything, it is good and evil at once. I understand that in 3D it is impossible to admit that. This is a rather shocking idea. Even those who study Jung sometimes try to deny that. But Jung has been very clear about it. This shocking idea is shown by every spiritual system in the world. The yin-yang is black and white in the exact same proportion. In Hinduism, Brahman is the god of creation, whereas Shiva is the god of destruction. Buddha meditates among angelical and demoniac figures. The Greek gods are good and evil at the same time, just like the gods of all other mythologies. Despite Christianity's opposite claims, the Christian God also knows how to be terribly evil. Take a look at Job's story, Jesus' crucifixion, and the last book of the Bible, Revelations. The same way, the soul, the transcendental, life itself, is good and evil, positive and negative at the same time. You also are good and evil, positive and negative at the same time. It is very hard to believe that you are an only good, only positive being. Since you are positive and negative at the same time, when you strive to have only positive thoughts, you do not eliminate the negative parts of yourself. On the contrary, you sweep that under the carpet. Positive thinking creates unconsciousness about negative things, about evil, but it does not make it go away. Imagine you will have to go in a house that has a monster inside. Is it better to keep the lights on or off? Turning the lights off won't make the monster disappear. It will only prevent you to see the monster. It is now much easier for the monster to attack you. It is better to see the monster, no matter how hard that is. Negative things and evil behave the same way. When you turn off the lights and don't relate to negative things anymore, you become unconscious of the negativity. But the negativity will not disappear. Much to the contrary, it is now much easier for evil to attack you since you are not looking. Evil has now more room in your life. Already in the medium term, positive thinking increases negative things in your life. Believing that you can eliminate evil and negativity of yourself, of life, or of the transcendental power is a complete illusion. Illusions are by no means harmless. Illusions are extremely dangerous. Illusions imprison your consciousness. Illusions are convictions. Convictions that imprison you in illusory realities. This illusion imprisons you in which reality? In the short term, everything will work just fine. Positive thinking will bring positive things to your life and you will accomplish things. While you are getting what you want, the illusion that you are in total control of your life increases fast. However, any person who brings negativity anywhere near you will be considered a negative person. You will have the tendency to look that person down with the attitude of someone who has already seen the light and wants to be away of negative people in order not to contaminate yourself with their negative energy. You will cast away people with problems, pain, diseases, or conflicts, meaning human beings. Meanwhile, the evil and the negative things you have swept under the carpet accumulate in your unconscious mind. In the medium term, the unconscious mind will return all that accumulated negativity to you. The goal of the unconscious is to complete you, to take you to balance, to the wholeness. Since you think positively, it throws you into negativity. At that moment, it won't matter how positive you are thinking. The unconscious mind is way stronger. It will take one single serious problem happen in your life, such as a financial loss, a career loss, a disease, a death in the family, and your house of cards collapses. These are very ordinary problems that happen in everybody's lives. But for those who have believed positive thinking was the solution for everything, for those who believed to be superior for having already seen the light, it's a big fall. You will, of course, try to sustain positive thinking until the problem goes away. But if the unconscious mind is making a move, the problem won't go away. It will get worse until you are exhausted. Instead of blaming positive thinking, you will be prone to blaming yourself. All of a sudden, you are the one doing everything wrong. You are the one who is incapable. You are the weak one. Your reality turns upside down. Feeling superior to others suddenly becomes feeling an inferior person. Don't allow this illusion to imprison you. Leave it behind. Destroying illusions is an act of courage, because destroying illusions is destroying convictions that you publicly stood for and seeing the life you have built on this illusion collapse. Destroying illusions is liberating because it opens the access to new realities. Positive thinking creates excessive positivity in your life. The unconscious mind responds to that increasing negativity. However unbelievable it may seem, the negativity increase is healthy because it moves you closer to balance, to the wholeness. That's why Cavalher calls the fourth dimension the paradigm of balance. The goal in 4D is to balance all the energies, all psychological traits, developing all of them equally, including evil. The third dimension believes that when positive things and good increase, negative things and evil decrease, either one or another. But in 4D, what really happens is another of the Jungian Psychology's brilliant teachings. The bigger the consciousness, the bigger the shadow. In other words, the bigger the things you consider to be good, the bigger the things you consider to be evil. Remember, the soul, life, the transcendental power are good and evil at the same time. Developing consciousness is to learn with them how to be good and evil at the same time. We need to stop deceiving ourselves, telling ourselves the lies that we are exclusively good and have found a way of not causing anybody any harm. We harm other people, particularly those we love the most, all the time. Ask those people sincerely and give them real room to be sincere to, and they will tell you all that. Those who are fathers and mothers like I am, and are at least a bit sincere, know how much they have unwillingly harmed their own children. We even harm ourselves. The fact that you are as a negative person as you are a positive one doesn't make you a monster. It just makes you human. In 4D, we all become more humble and admit that we are both positive and negative. But it is precisely this modesty that allows us to admit in the end of the fourth dimension that we are the wholeness. In 4D, the goal is no longer to be good. In 4D, the goal is to be more conscious of all your good sides and all your evil sides. As soon as we become conscious of our evil sides, we feel tempted to go back to searching for a way of eliminating these evil sides, believing that merely discovering them is quite enough. That would only take us back to the duality of the 3D. In 4D, we discover that good and evil will exist in ourselves inevitably and eternally. The goal becomes to develop the ability to practice good and evil in the most conscious and human way we can. Positive thinking makes you think that the spiritual development is made of victories only. But the Jungian psychology shows that being defeated is indispensable for the spiritual development. We will discuss that in the next video. Stay tuned.